your dreams. Well, what does that mean? What's it all mean? Believe in your dreams. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Hey everyone, it's Call Me Adam, and we are here at Dreams Café inside the historic Algonquin Hotel in the heart of New York City's theater district, and today we are dreaming with actress Ali Stroker. Hi, Ali.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So excited that you're here. We have to start off right away talking about our mutual friend, Bobby Cronin.
Yes.
Yes, he's a composer, arranger, writer, and you are working with him on a new musical called Unlucky in Love.
I am.
And Bobby is the creator of our theme song for Dreaming With.
I've heard.
So exciting.
All these worlds collide.
I love it. It's
Me
such a great
too.
mix. So how did you come to be involved with Unlucky in Love?
Well, Bobby and I met when I was in college. He was my teacher.
Oh, wow.
At NYU, at Tisch, at Cap 21. And I remember singing for him, and afterwards he was like, someday someone's going to write a show for you.
Mm-hmm.
And cut to, 7 years later, he asked me to come do a reading of Unlucky in Love, which was called Concrete Jungle, about maybe a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And then things started rolling, and after Spring Awakening, he approached me with Crystal, who is the book writer, and they were like, listen, we want to change the part to be based around you and a woman in a wheelchair. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. What a dream come true. I would love to do this. So we've been meeting and talking about how to make this character really authentic. And it's been a blast, and I can't wait to keep moving with it. People always ask me, what are your dream roles on Broadway? And I say, I would love to be in this show or that show, but I would love to originate a part that is someone in a chair, because I think that there's so much curiosity around disability, and to share a real authentic story from someone who is actually living it, I think would be really powerful.
Yeah, it definitely would be. I mean, we have to talk about Spring Awakening.
Okay.
Your Broadway debut, and not only was it your Broadway debut, but you're the first person in a wheelchair to have a leading role, a feature role on Broadway.
Yeah.
And you were also the first person to graduate Tisch's drama program. I mean, it's such an exciting time. Was it everything you imagined your Broadway debut would be? Was it better?
Well, when I found out that the show was going to Broadway, I cried, tears of joy. When I got back to New York and started rehearsals, and then we moved into the theater, it was just surreal. I mean, I had been waiting for this dream to come true for 20 years. I talked to my dad, and my dad was like, now that you're here, you've dreamt of this. Now that you're here, what is it like? And my response was, it was worth the wait. Because I think if this had happened, right when I got out of school, I wouldn't have appreciated it as much. And to be there with Deaf West, and half the cast was deaf and half was hearing. And, the deaf cast, I had never worked with other actors with disabilities, and that was like a moment of being with my posse, being with my people, people who understand what it's like to have to do things differently. And it was just beautiful. It will go down as probably the best moment of my life to date.
How does it feel to be the trailblazer of all of it?
It feels amazing, and I these were my dreams, and these were the things that I wanted, and I was so fortunate to have people along the way supporting me and saying yes, and really believing in me. And then for anybody, disability or not, it's the right place, the right time, right people, and things have really aligned. And I hope that this is the beginning of many opportunities being given to people with all different kinds of abilities. And again, I think it's such an opportunity for our industry to feature these stories and people who have disabilities. I think that audiences are ready and the world is ready, and I am ready to feel a shift in society where there isn't as much fear around disability.
Yes. For a long time, you let the chair define you until you saw your first musical, and you were like, I want to be an actress, and I can be that. And you figured out a way to make your disability your ability.
Right.
Do you remember that shift in thinking?
How that happened?
How that happened? Yeah.
I think it was the realization that I could play other roles other than the girl in the wheelchair. I could be an actress. I could be a singer. I could be outgoing. I could be a star. I could be the other side of it. I could be depressed. I could be unhappy. And these choices that you learn to make as a performer on stage was a direct, I felt like I could do that in my life as well. And to feel these other identities in myself was so powerful because at the time, being a young girl in a wheelchair, I hadn't found the strength in that yet. It felt vulnerable and scary, and I didn't feel like I was being seen by the world the way that I wanted to be seen. So theater and performing gave me that opportunity to explore what it was like to be other people.
And how great that you have the strength inside you to be able to make that change, because not everybody would do that. A lot of people, they may want it, but they don't know how to get it. But you're out there making it happen for yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
It's incredible.
I have to say, I would never be here if it weren't for my family and my parents, who just were so determined to help me succeed. And the focus was on what I could do and not what I could not do. And
that's how it should be for everybody. They should focus on what they can do.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, our minds are really tricky and they can sabotage us. So being really clear with yourself about what you're trying to create for your life and career. And for me, my career has brought me to the place where I wanted to be as a person. Wow. So I've used that as my vehicle in some ways to get where I wanted to be. But for everyone it's different, and it's an adventure for sure.
Yes, definitely. Because I know you're very vocal right now about sex and people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview with you, and you started to talk about it. And I just wonder what, like you were saying in that interview, when you were 16, you wanted to kiss boys and be with boys, and you have a hard time with people seeing you as a human that way.
This is
a sexual being,
and these are these conversations that are not had. And I think it has to do with the history of disability and my community. Only 50 to 60 years ago, we were put into institutions. And now to be out in the real world and wanting to date and be seen as sexual beings, there is fear, and then because it's not as common, then it's fetishized. And I have had some very insane experiences with people that have no idea how to handle themselves. But it's for the book.
Yeah.
I would love to be on a sitcom as a character who just talks about her dating life all the time.
Oh, that would be
and
great.
These experiences, right? Because, I think television has that power. We tune in and these people become our friends. So to be able to be exposed to something like that, content like that, I think would be really exciting. And
I think you just wrote yourself a role.
So anybody wants to know. But I really believe that that we have the power to change things in our society through our industry, through the entertainment industry. And so to make those changes, because I have felt it. I'm 28 years old, so I've only been dating for technically probably 10 years. I had a boyfriend in high school. But, there's so many interesting beliefs in our society that we don't even realize are things that we've just inherited or have just decided because we're uncomfortable or there's fear. And I'm interested in changing that, because people with disabilities have such an incredible relationship with their bodies because it's different.
Yeah.
And I listen to my body very differently than somebody who can feel their entire body. So that relationship, I think, can really translate really beautifully into sex and sexuality. And I'm bisexual, identify as bisexual. I've had girlfriends and I have a boyfriend now. And again, like being open, you know, and that's what I've chosen and what feels really good to me, to be open in exploring, you know, I get this one life and this one body. What does it mean? What does it mean to be in a wheelchair and be sexual? What does it mean to explore your sexuality? And often people say, you know, you're too beautiful to be in a wheelchair, or it doesn't make sense that you're in a wheelchair. And I always am like, what is that? What is that belief that is true for that person, that disability isn't beautiful, that it can't be sexy? I disagree. That there are so many people with disabilities that are so attractive and so beautiful and sexy and unique. I think that there are some really interesting conversations to be had and stories to be told.
I mean, what was it like when you like solidified that you guys are gonna date?
Yeah.
You know, were you dating for a while before him, or was it sort of just like love at first sight?
I love that question. Well, I have known my boyfriend for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And we went to college together, and then we reconnected about 6 months ago. So there was like a familiarity and like I know you, but we didn't really hang out, or we didn't know each other that well. We were just acquaintances.
How long apart was it from the last time you saw him till you reunited?
It had to be like close to 5 years.
Okay.
But it was like by accident. He was at the theater visiting another person who was in the cast, and like we connected, and then he came to see the show, and then we connected, and
oh my God.
And it started out really slow, which is really nice, because anytime you're getting to know somebody, it's like, how much do you reveal of yourself? But because we knew each other for so long, there was just like, I just felt so comfortable talking to him about and explaining. Like, something that's really interesting about dating when you have a disability is you have this opportunity to try to articulate your experience to someone else. And that's sometimes really hard and really scary, but when it's received and when someone is really engaged and excited and taken with that experience, or you know, there is, again, like trust that is built. And yeah, he's changed my life, as most relationships do. And he is so powerful and makes me feel really powerful in my own way. And yeah, we have this really beautiful relationship.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And it's such a beautiful story. I don't think this is going to make you cry, but...
Oh, whoa. Now I'm nervous.
No, it's not. I always try to be, because Oprah made everybody cry, and I just want to... It's like my goal is to make
Wait for it.
cry. Oh, I love it. So on my website, I have a section called 1% Better, where I try to encourage people to improve their life by 1% every day. Yeah. What is something in your life that you want to improve by 1% better every day?
I would like to improve my commitment to my health. This is a challenge for me. This has been a challenge for me my entire life, and it's something that I've resisted. But there are certain things that I need to do to stay healthy. And I know that I can't do everything else without my health. So I would like to increase my commitment to that. Because if I was committing to my health the way that I commit to my career, yes, I probably would be feeling and seeing different results. I am healthy and strong, but living a life with a spinal cord injury, there are parts to it that are just different. And so I would like to commit to that.
Terrific. And everybody watching, check out Allie's website, alliestroker.com, for all the latest news of what's coming up. And definitely be on the lookout for Unlucky in Love when that materializes even more. And we're going to be back after these messages with your dream interpretation with Jefferson. So stay tuned.
So excited.
If you would like to know more about Ali Stroker, be sure to visit alistroker.com. You can also follow her on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For more episodes of Dreaming With, visit stardreamscafe.com. For more of Adam's interviews, visit callmeadam.com. For more of Jefferson's dream interpretations, radio show appearances, and podcast episodes, visit everydaysymbology.com. Planning a visit to New York? First visit algonquinhotel.com. Do you have any questions for me first?
So how does this work? I tell you my dream?
And then I tell you what it means, pretty much.
Yes! Okay, great. Because I had this dream last night. I had a dream that my bed, I was in my room and I was laying at the end of my bed with my boyfriend, sleeping. And I looked up and there was a shelf above my bed. And there was a big nest on the shelf. So the bed was set up like this. So this is the top of the bed.
Okay.
And so we're laying here at the bottom of the bed. And at the top of the bed is against a wall.
Right.
And there was a shelf
Oh, okay,
above
so the shelf is on this side.
the bed. And there was a big nest with eggs in it. And there was a big gray, maybe like a crow heron looking kind of bird sitting on the nest. And then all of a sudden the nest fell onto the bed. And the eggs started hatching and making so much noise. And then they came out, all these birds, these like little baby birds came out of the nest and started charging at me. And then I woke up.
That's it?
That was it.
They started charging at you.
Yeah.
How did you feel when they were charging at you?
Like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Did you feel afraid, or did you just feel...
It was just like overwhelming.
Overwhelmed, yeah.
Like it got louder and louder.
Okay, so here's the head of the bed. Here's the foot. You're at the foot of the bed, but you're laying sideways, correct? Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because Bobby
wrote the song
Sleeping Sideways, which is in the show that you're in. With
I
him.
know.
So you're literally sleeping sideways in this bed with him. Do you have any particular feelings about birds?
Yeah, my mom was a bird watcher growing up.
Okay.
And so she would, whenever we were out, whenever we'd see a bird, she'd like identify it. And then I grew up with getting in the car and the bird call tapes were in, and she was like working on her like identification of bird calls. And I remember as a kid being like, Mom, turn that off. And now I'm like, that is so weird and so cool.
Where was the mother bird when the nest fell?
Not there.
Okay, so was she there before the nest fell? Mm-hmm. Did she fly off? Did you see her leave?
I did not see her leave.
Okay. Describe her more, because you said crow heron, but those are two entirely different looking birds.
It was like a gray color.
Okay.
It wasn't black, but it was like a little fluffier than like a crow. You know how crows are kind of slick?
Yeah.
A little fluffier bird, but it had that big beak.
Okay. Where was the mother? Was she in the nest, or was she above it? Was she behind it?
She started like on the nest.
On the nest.
Mm-hmm.
Were the eggs visible at that point? Mm-mm. Okay, so you just
So
saw
when
the
they
nest
dropped,
itself.
I saw them, and then it started breaking open.
Okay. Were any of them damaged?
No,
Okay.
they
So
all like.
how many were there?
But there were like at least 5.
At least 5. This is a mother bird, and the image is a birth, because all of these birds are
Right.
hatching. But what I'm seeing is, first off, the fact that the nest is above you and then falls and then everything opens up. To me, this is about inspiration and ideas, and these birds represent your ideas and what you're birthing. Okay, the mother in this case represents, in reality, you. You have a lot of projects on at the same time, and that's what this is about. You have a lot of irons in the fire, and they're all looking to be birthed, and so you're looking for some solace in that, some rest, which is what you get with your boyfriend. And in order to really get that, you can't sleep with your head, if you will. Where the ideas are. So they're on the shelf above you, which is where inspiration comes from. We see it as coming from above us. I mean, the word inspiration, it means in spirit. So spirit is, we usually see that in heaven and therefore in the sky above us. So you have this image of the nest being above you, as if it's separate. And so in order to further separate yourself from the idea that this is part of you, you turn sideways. Because if you're both at the head of the bed and your head is right there, then the nest is just falling on you. But this way there's a separation. It's what you're saying is, I need a little bit of distance from this. But what the ideas are saying is, we're here and we're ready to be born. Okay, it's our time, and even though you are looking for some rest in all of this. Yes, you need to get your rest and feel free to get it, but at the same time, we're here and it's our time. So there's an urgency in this dream, and that's why you're feeling overwhelmed at the end, where you're seeing them coming at you and you're like, oh, guys, wait a minute, what's going on here? I mean, imagine if, one day you woke up and you didn't even realize that you were pregnant and all of a sudden there were quintuplets. That's essentially what the dream is showing you. And it's not a literal birth of babies, but it is a birth of ideas.
Ideas, cool.
Ideas, yeah. So what it's saying is, their time has come. Get your rest while you can, because things are really moving.
Wow. So fun. That's so cool.
That was a lot of fun, yeah. Another thing about this is the fact that your mom was a bird watcher. That's an important point, because it's not like you're having this dream with no knowledge of birds.
Right.
You were literally steeped in it from, I would assume, your childhood.
Yeah.
That you know the different bird calls because she would put that tape in the car. The different varieties of birds. And again, it's interesting that you picked the crow and the heron. So what I would invite you to do is look at the archetypes or the behaviors of the crow and the heron in relation to what I've told you about the fact that these are ideas. Because those are the two birds, regardless of what this bird actually was or looked like, in your mind, those were the two birds that you mentioned, therefore those are the ones that resonated with you about this bird.
Okay.
So what that means is, if you look up, even just go to Wikipedia and just look at what the behavioral habits of the crow are versus the behavioral habits of the heron.
Okay.
And see, why did you pick those two birds? Because there's a message in there for you. And there's a way for you to learn more about how to handle this new time that's coming with all of these different little complications that are going, we want your attention and we want it fully now. So your way of managing that is going to come from understanding that these ideas, as much as they seem out of control at the moment, if you think about it, a baby when it's first born is demanding all your attention.
Right.
These ideas are doing the same thing. How do you manage them? You become the mother bird. Okay, so look at the behaviors of how crows treat their babies, how herons treat their babies, and look at how those specific birds raise their young. And understand that in that is information that your intuition is guiding you toward, to understand how to manage these new ideas that you're birthing, these new adventures that you're going on. That your behavior and how you present yourself will largely be connected with that. Now, I know you said when you were speaking with Adam that, because of being in a wheelchair, that you have an awareness of your life that's different than other people's. You come into a room with other people who aren't in a wheelchair, and you're going to have a very different perception about that room and those people and just how life unfolds and what you're feeling in your body. Well, the same is true for the crow, the same is true for the heron. And so what I'm saying is put yourself in their shoes, because they're guiding you intuitively to some of the answers of the complications that are going to come up as these ideas unfold, and how to manage them. Because the ideas are the babies, which means they need the mother to be wise, to be attentive, and to nurture them. So the way that you're being guided to nurture these ideas is through the behaviors of these archetypal birds.
Wow,
and as
cool.
you connect, and this makes perfect sense because you're the daughter of a bird watcher.
Right.
So you're being guided to look at, and I would even talk to your mom about it and see what she says about them and see how their behaviors and their wisdom,
Yeah.
you know, look at Native American animal totems, look at the wisdom of these birds and see how it can help you in managing these new projects, these new ideas, these new adventures.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So, how do you think everything went with like the dream interpretation? Do you understand everything Jefferson pointed out? And
Definitely.
It all makes
It was
sense.
so helpful, and I'm excited to do a little more research on some of the birds, and yeah, it definitely resonated with me.
and you have so much going on that I mean, just listening to him, how Jefferson pinpointed exactly what the birds meant, and that you're the mother of all these ideas, and it is evident with everything you have happening and stuff we didn't even get to talk about coming up. It's like, I don't know how you keep up with everything.
Sleep. How do you sleep?
How do you sleep?
But if you think about it, the Spring Awakening show is one of those eggs. It's just that's one that already hatched and you've already birthed and it's already lived its life and it's flown and it's on its own now.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So why don't we just go to the toast?
Why don't we do a cheers?
Okay.
Cheers to the Algonquin and to Allie and to what's to come.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. And cheers to dreaming with.
Cheers to dreaming.
Cheers.